I've been in my 20s for 4 years now, and I have 6 years left of my 20s, which means I probably also have a hell of a lot more lessons to learn. But so far, 4 years in, at 24 years old, here's what I've got to show for it, and here's what I have to share with you. These are 20 lessons I've learned in my 20s so far. Lesson number 1. Everyone projects and nothing is ever personal. I learned this fairly quickly during my barista days, and it's something that now I can pick up pretty easily in conversation. There have been times I've been in conversations with people where they will start to say or do certain things, and I know in the moment that this has nothing to do with me. This is a projection. The thing is, you, me, the person standing next to you in line at the coffee shop, we are all mirrors of each other. The things that people see in you that they may be lacking within themselves, well, it projects in a multitude of different ways. For example, let's say that you've been putting in that work in the gym. You've been eating your spinach, you've been showing up, you've been doing the damn thing. Maybe someone you know hasn't. Maybe they feel insecure about the way that they look. Maybe they feel like they haven't done a good job of going to the gym. Whatever it may be. This may then outwardly manifest as backhanded compliments, out-of-pocket comments, envy, jealousy, all of those negative things. Sometimes people will project their insecurities and things that they feel that they're lacking onto you. And it doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you're at fault for anything. Maybe that person doesn't have the emotional capacity to come face to face with their shadow side. Maybe they have insecurities or things that they haven't healed from, traumas they haven't healed from. Do you see how all of those things I just said have nothing to do with you? All of that to say, nothing in life is ever personal, and people really are overly concerned about themselves that they don't see you for you. They see you as the trigger that is triggering something inside of them. Does that make sense? Lesson number 2, the relationship that people have with themselves dictates the relationships they have with other people. Have you ever been in a friendship or a relationship where you feel like you are super connected with them, like you're in it, you're there, and the other person just kind of feels about you? And I know your first reaction probably is, and just like mine has been in the past, oh, well, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe they just don't like me. And sure, that may be a reason sometimes. It's not the reason all the time. If somebody doesn't know thyself, if they haven't done the healing, the introspection, if they haven't gotten to know who they are, or they have a poor relationship with themselves, if they haven't done all of that for themselves, how do you expect them to do that for you? We are put on this earth for human connection, to connect with other people, to connect with each other, and yes, to connect with ourselves as well. And those who lack awareness, both externally and internally, sometimes don't have the emotional capacity to show up and support you. They don't have the compassion or the emotional maturity that is needed in healthy relationships. Do the work internally so that you could show up better externally for people and relationships and friendships around you. And if you feel like you give 100% to a certain friendship or relationship and you really only get 50-60 back, that may be because they just don't have the capacity to meet you where you are. Lesson number 3, nothing is permanent. It really isn't. And that is both terrifying and beautiful all at the same time. When nothing is permanent, that means that you can change, pivot, grow at any time. Situations that I thought would be forever, that I thought would be permanent, ended up being temporary and a little fleeting. And it hurts, it sucks when things that you thought would always be around end up not being around anymore. But realistically, those things that I thought were permanent that turned out to be temporary were things that propelled me to the next step in my evolution, the next step in my self-discovery, if you will. This is just a reminder to be present and enjoy things while you still have them, because people, places, and things are all fleeting and they can disappear in a blink of an eye. Enjoy things while you have them, but when you get the calling to move on from something, don't be afraid to move on from it. Lesson number 4, putting distilled white vinegar in with your laundry is actually the best thing that you could do for your clothes. So you know your gym apparel, like the stuff that you wear to work out in, you go to the gym, whatever. Have you ever had moments where you've washed it, you've dried it, it's clean, whatever, but it still has that gym or sort of like metal smell to it? Yeah, the way to cut through that is not fabric softeners or more detergents or more stuff that's actually harming your clothes. It's actually distilled white vinegar. After you pour in your detergent into your load of laundry, put a little bit, like a cap or two full of vinegar, let your laundry do its thing. I promise it'll not smell like vinegar when it comes out, just don't use a ton. And also it'll soften your clothes and it'll maintain the integrity of your clothes too. And yes, it will cut through any sort of scents that your laundry detergent can't seem to get out. So if your gym clothes, your leggings, your sports bras, if any of that stuff smells like gym and has perpetually just smelled like gym, use some distilled white vinegar and it won't smell like gym anymore. Lesson number 5, you are going to go through friend breakups, and yes, friend breakups are inevitable and sometimes they do hurt more than romantic breakups do. In 2021 and the beginning of 2022, this is right after I had moved to Chicago, I remember crying in my bed a lot because I felt like I was just losing all of my friends out of nowhere. At that time, my closest friends, my bestest friends in the entire world, they all live in different cities, unfortunately. And back in 2021 and 2022, I really felt the weight of that. I had gone from living on campus with them and them being 5 minutes down the road to now them being in a completely different city and state. And the friends that I did have in the city of Chicago, it just seemed like they were dropping like flies. But looking back on it now, I realize they needed to go. They were not quality friends. There was a lot of comparison, a lot of competition. There wasn't a whole lot of support. It felt like every friendship was blowing up right in front of me. But let me be the first one to tell you that now, fast forward into 2024, every single friendship that I lost during that time has been replaced with a better quality friend that I have now, that I have met over the last couple of years since all of that happened. If you're in a phase like that right now, trust me, it is so normal in your 20s to go through friendships like that. You are changing so quickly and so are the other people around you, and sometimes the person that you became friends with, you guys just may not align anymore, and that's okay. God, the universe, whatever higher power that you believe in, will never remove people out of your life that are supposed to be there. I do miss my old friends and friendships, and I am a believer that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Do I miss them and do I miss our times? Yeah, of course. But would I ever welcome them back into my life? Probably not. Take it from me. As you go through your 20s and you start learning all of these new things about yourself, your friendship standards, your boundaries, all of those things are going to change. The quality of friendships and the quality of people that you will attract when you have firm boundaries and you have friendship expectations is wondrous. My friendships I had a few years ago do not hold a candle to the friendships that I have today. And I thank God every day for that. So if that is your current situation, do not stress. It's all gonna work out, and anybody who is supposed to remain in your life will be. Trust that. Lesson number 6, less anger, more tolerance. I will be the first one to admit, okay? I'm Italian, I'm a Sicilian woman, okay? I got a little anger. I could get a little feisty sometimes. I could get a little heated, I could get a little triggered. It comes with the culture. However, I do think that with aging and maturing, I have mellowed out a little bit. Things that used to get on my last nerve, those things that really used to trigger me, they really don't faze me as much anymore. I think by maturing, I have also built up more tolerance and more acceptance of other people. Because listen, at the end of the day, you and I, we are different. We're different people. We're different people, different backgrounds, different traumas, different interests, different families of origin. We're different. I think in the past, when I was younger, people's differences that would sort of bother me or threaten me or annoy me, frustrate me, whatever it was, it would elicit a very not great reaction out of me. And I think over time, I have developed more tolerance for people, where I have more understanding and more compassion, more awareness for other people, where they come from, why they say the things that they do, why they may act the way that they do based upon all of these factors that I may not know about. And I think that I've developed more tolerance and more acceptance for people over time. Just because somebody is different from you doesn't make you right, me wrong, or vice versa. It just means that we're different. And this is something that I've heard a lot of people talk about, that as you get older, this happens. So it's happening, it's happened. I guess I'm right on track. Lesson number 7, I'm not a huge drinker, and that's okay. I don't let people peer pressure me anymore or back me into a corner to do something that I don't want to do. I am not a huge alcohol girly, okay? When I was in college, ooh, I loved me an Angry Balls, okay? I loved me an Angry Balls. If you don't know what an Angry Balls is, it's Angry Orchard and Fireball, and it is so good. It's funny though, after I turned 21, I think the appeal of alcohol diminished for me. I still have good times with my friends. I still indulge in a little espresso martini here and there, and I love a shot of Fireball, okay? I still know how to have a good time, but my idea of a good time does not revolve around or consist of alcohol anymore. My hangovers take me out. It is true. Once you get past 22, your hangovers change, and it's different. And also, I've been living in the city of Chicago for 3 years now. I'm a firm believer that nothing good happens after midnight, and certainly nothing good happens after 2 a.m. in this city. So that party lifestyle where I would be like belligerently drunk into the wee hours of the night, it doesn't work for me anymore. It's not me. My skin, hair, and vital organs all agree with that too. Try to roast me into drinking, try to roast me into doing something I don't want to do. It's going in one ear and out the other, baby. I don't want to hear it. Lesson number 8, the power of shutting up. Energy, 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 energy is everything. Energy is everything. It cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transmuted. The power of shutting the frickety frick up. Let me explain. I used to be somebody that I loved sharing everything with everyone. All of my goals, my ideas, my just good things, good news that was happening in my life. And then I started to notice this little phenomenon where it just seemed like every time I would share good news with certain people, that good news would end up blowing up in my face and that good thing would be taken away from me. I look back on that now and I think to myself, like, damn, did things go awry because of the people that I was sharing those good things with? Did I share good news with people that didn't receive my good news and respond with good energy? Because think about it, I may have been buzzing about this good news, whatever it was back in the day, whatever I was talking about. I may have been buzzing about it, but the person I was telling could have easily been thinking in their head like, oh, well, I don't have this, so therefore I don't want her to have it. Or just not putting the best vibes towards that good thing I was sharing with them. When bad energy surrounds something good, it kills the good thing. So take it from me, learn how to shut up. I say that with love. I can't tell you how many times I shared good things or good news, whatever, in the past, and the other person met me with, well, what if this happens? Or what if like this goes wrong? Did you consider this? And it's like, don't put that in, don't speak that into existence. And I think that a lot of those people actually right then and there spoke those negative things into existence in response to my good news. Keep it to yourself, shut up, and be private. Obviously in life, we all have people that, you know, we could share good news with, and no matter where they're at, whatever, they will always receive it with positive vibes. Share with those people. Go ahead, share everything you want with those people. The other ones that you're kind of like, should I be sharing this with you? If you even have an inkling that you shouldn't be sharing with that person, do not share with that person. For me now, mine even goes as far as when people ask me what I do for a living. I tell them I do freelance digital marketing and content creation, but I don't go into all of the platforms that I'm building and my YouTube subscribers and the community that I'm building over on Instagram. Like, I don't go into details because they don't need to know. If you want to know, you could check it out yourself. And if you want to hear ideas, goals, announcements, you will hear it when everyone else hears it, when I announce it or when I post about it. You'll know when everyone else knows, after it's a done deal and it's set in stone and no one's energy can mess with it. I suggest you do the same. Lesson number 9, there are differing levels of friendship, and that's okay. This was a tough one I had to learn because obviously this is going back into the 2021, 2022 timeline that I just told you about with friends. I had to learn very quickly that there are different friends for different reasons in different seasons. Not everyone that you meet, that you form a friendship with, is going to be your bestest friend in the entire world, your ride or die for life. Not everyone you meet is gonna be in your wedding or be at your child's baby shower, okay? I think of friendships now the way that I think of like rings around Saturn, okay? I'm Saturn, hey, and then you have like, I don't know why I did that. You have like your inner ring, okay? Your inner ring is like your people, like your best friends, closest friends, and like that could only be 1 or 2 people, and that's cool. But inner ring, those are the people that you would trust with your life. Those are the people that you would allow to hold your newborn baby because you're not afraid that they're gonna throw the newborn baby out the window. Well, you know, I hope none of your friends would do that, but anyway, I digress. Then the ring outside of that one is more like good friends. Like, still good people, wholesome people, but are these the type of people that you're gonna share like your deepest, darkest secrets with? Maybe not. Next ring is gonna be just like friends that are good for certain things. Next ring is acquaintances. You know, you get the picture here, and you can classify your friendships and your Saturn rings as however you see fit. But I used to make the mistake in the past of thinking that everybody that came into my life was supposed to be like this best friend, close friend, and not everybody needs to be. However, if any people at any time on any of our little Saturn rings are showing us disrespect, are not showing up for us, not supporting us, not just not being good friends in general, well, they gotta go, okay? They can get spit over to Pluto. That's where they're gonna live now, not in our Saturn rings, and that's on period. But everyone else, you're cool, you could stay. You got your category. Lesson number 10, everything happens for a reason. And I know that also sounds cliche, but it is so true. I'm a firm believer, and especially after the experiences that I've had in my own life, that everything really does happen for a reason. And everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, then it's not the end. Hold the faith, keep the faith that everything is always working out for you. That God, the universe, your ancestors, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, again, whoever you believe in, that they have your back and that you're gonna be okay and that the world is not gonna end and just blow up in your face. That's not gonna happen. You can get through even the darkest hours and moments in life where you think that things have gone wrong and it's the end and oh my God, how am I gonna recover from this? Relax, you'll be fine. Just keep the faith, you'll be okay. Everything's okay. Everything's working out. Life is not happening to you. Life is happening for you. Islands are birthed from volcanic eruptions, and even flowers bloom in the shade, so it's all good. Lesson number 11. Rejection is redirection. I'm gonna get super vulnerable with this one. I graduated from college in December of 2022, and about 2 weeks after I graduated, I started at my first consultant position. I was a change management consultant right out of college for about 9 months. In college, I sort of struggled to find my major. I wasn't really sure what I was passionate about, what I loved. I mean, you stick an 18-year-old in college and you say, figure your life out. Figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life at 18. It doesn't work out sometimes. Sometimes there are people like me that just don't know what you want to do for the rest of your life. So just like most people, I went into business, and I found out pretty quickly that entrepreneurship was really the only aspect of business that truly interested me. I loved it. I fell in love with entrepreneurship very quickly. And I'm telling you that because I didn't study consulting in college. Like, consulting wasn't like a passion of mine. I took a few courses, I participated in a few things and got involved in like programs and stuff where there was like consulting work being done, and it was fine, but it was more of like a, okay, well, this feels expected of me, so I'm just gonna go through with it. It wasn't my passion though. It wasn't my main thing. Can I tell you something? You know what has always been a passion of mine? Film. Video creation, video editing, storytelling, writing, scripting, entertainment. Those are spaces that I've always thrived in. I love doing them. I love talking about them. This has been something that's been going on for me for years. I love film. I love all things video, all things photo. During those 9 months while I was at my consulting position, I used to write in my journal all the time, and I would just desperately manifest. Please God, please universe, give me the opportunity to have my YouTube channel pop off. Let me grow my YouTube channel. Let me let my other social channels pop off. Let me do this video creation, this video editing as much as my heart desires. Like, just let me have that. And during that time, there was a lot of shifts. There was a lot of things happening within the company that I was working at. We were in the process of merging with another company, and so there were a lot of budget cuts and things sort of happening. And one day on a Tuesday at 1 p.m., of course it was a Tuesday, I inevitably met my fate with the company. I got on a call with my manager in HR, and they unfortunately informed me that due to budget cuts and just overall budget constraints, they could no longer keep some of the more junior members on the team. I got that call, and after I got off the call, I dropped down to my knees in my kitchen, crying a mix of sad tears and happy tears, and I just surrendered because I realized in that moment, everything I've been writing in my journal, I wrote that into existence. I knew it was my time. God had removed the 40+ hour a week job from my plate, which opened up and gave me so much more time to just thrive in my creative process and create the way that I want to and have the time to really invest into what makes me happy, which is this. Of course, we always go through the emotions of like, oh, I just lost my job, okay, but I knew that everything was working out for me, and I knew that it was all good. It was not rejection. It truly was redirection. And in the first 3 months that I had my time back and I really invested all of my time into this, I mean, life just changed, man. Like, things are good. And I realize now that this was my redirection. It was never rejection. It wasn't a door slamming closed in front of me. It was a door slamming closed in front of me, and then this huge floor to ceiling window just opening. The alignment came after the rejection. The rainbow came after the rain. Remember, life is not happening to you. It is happening for you. Rejection is redirection. It's all good. We're good. Lesson number 12. Working out is not a one-size-fits-all. I used to be really big into lifting weights. I loved going to the gym. I loved doing all of that. I mean, I still do, but just not as much anymore. I followed everything that the gym bros said. I ate everything that the gym bros said. I was on my gym bro-ish, okay? But the thing was, despite following all of these things that these people who are super into weightlifting were saying, I just never saw the results like I thought I would. Like, my body didn't do what I thought it would do by doing all of that, you know? It wasn't until about 6 months ago where I went to this Pilates studio and I tried Pilates for the first time. And there's a Pilates studio that's like right by my house. So I started going, and to my surprise, within 1 month of doing Pilates, I saw more changes in my body than I did after 7 years of lifting weights in a gym. Working out is not a one-size-fits-all. What works for C-bum may not work for you, and that's cool. Find the form of exercise that works for you, that you enjoy. If it's cycling, cool. If it's running, great. If it's Pilates, even better. I'll see you there. Once you find it, keep at it, learn to enjoy it. If you go to classes, get to know the instructors. When you have all of that kind of going for you, it starts to feel less like a chore or an obligation and more of something that's like a self-care, self-love act, if that makes sense. Lesson number 13, eating well in the winter helps with seasonal depression. I live in Chicago, okay? It gets really cold around here and it gets really dark in the winter. Like 3 p.m. the sun starts going down and it sucks. And I am somebody who has struggled with seasonal depression and just seasonal winter blues in the past. Some winters worse than others. But what I have learned is during the winter, if I'm eating junk food or processed foods or foods that really aren't great for me, I'm gonna feel it. And my mental health is gonna suffer even worse. This winter, my boyfriend and I really made the effort to cook most of our meals at home. We're cooking good ingredients, salmon, chicken, tofu, eating the veggie rainbow, fresh fruits. Like, we were doing all of that. And I'll be the first one to say that, wow, there's a link between what you put in your body, your diet, and your mental health. Get your diet right to better your mental health. Your physical health, your gut health, it ties into your mental health like nobody's business. Treat your body right and your mental will thank you. Your mental, it won't be as rigid up here. Just eat some good stuff. Lesson 14. Ditch the trends, find your own style. Trends, yes. The mob wife aesthetic, which I actually find extremely offensive. Do not insult my culture like that, okay? I can't tell you how many times in college I recycled my wardrobe because I hopped on a trend and I bought these pieces of clothing, and then all of a sudden, a few months later, everyone was off that trend and on to another. Forget all of that, dude. Forget trends. It is just, that is a capitalist mindset, all right? And just do not subscribe to that. Take it from me, develop your own style. In the past 3 years since I've moved to Chicago and I've been off my college campus and all that, I have started to actually ignore trends. I'm like, I don't care what everyone else is wearing. I want to wear what I know I look good in, I feel good in, I'm comfortable in, and that's that. We still have a ways to go with my wardrobe, okay, honey? Okay, but at least at this point, I know that what is in my wardrobe right now can, number one, will not be going out of style because it's not a trend, it's not a fad. And I also know too that what I have in my closet can be worn 500 different ways with 500 different outfits. So there is also like that minimalist aspect in there, sort of. Whatever, I love clothes. Mob wife, who came up with mob wife aesthetic? No. Lesson 15, we got 5 more, guys. Your body is the first to know and the last to forget. Trust your gut. Learn to listen to it. Learn to trust it. Learn to become one with your gut. Sometimes we confuse feelings of anxiety with like a gut reaction, but I've learned to differentiate between the two because anxiety feels hot. It feels quick and hot and kind of chaotic and loud and confusing. A gut feeling, a gut reaction feels calm. It's like an overall knowing. Have you ever had those moments where like everyone is obsessed with somebody and they walk in the room, you meet them for the first time and you're just like, why is everyone obsessed with you? Like I don't feel right about you. There's something off about you. Trust that. Trust your gut. If your body is getting triggered by something somewhere, your body is trying to tell you something. And while you may not consciously be aware of what it's trying to tell you, just ride with the feeling, stay with yourself, stay one with yourself, and act accordingly. Your brain and your body truly work overtime to protect you. Protect it back by listening to it. Lesson 16, this actually goes with the last one. If you feel you are unsafe, you probably are. Listen to your body, especially as a woman. If you are in a situation or with people or a place where you just feel unsafe, like there are just alarms going off in your body, like they're just get out, leave. Do not go anywhere or talk with anyone that makes you feel unsafe. If you have friends that are putting you in an unsafe position or unsafe situation, get out, go home. If you're walking home alone and you feel unsafe, run, scream, make noise, act crazy. It is better to be safe than sorry. I have been in so many situations where I have gotten out of them, but I realized had I had stayed or had I not done what I did, the result would have probably been really bad, like really bad. It is better to be safe than sorry always. This goes with the last one. Listen to your gut, trust your gut, trust what your body is trying to tell you, especially as women. Lesson 17, your traumas are not your fault, but they are your responsibility. We cannot help what has happened to us in our lives. We can't control it, and it's definitely not our fault that we've experienced traumas or the people that were supposed to protect us, maybe they didn't protect us as well as they should have. There are a number of reasons and things that could have gone wrong in all of our lives, and it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. As we age, I feel like there's just a lot of things that we unlearn, and I think that's why our 20s can be a little difficult, because we're caught in the crossfires of unlearning things that we've always known and learning new things that we don't know. And I think that that's where that push and pull kind of comes from. This goes back to number 1. People project. Unhealed people project. Hurt people hurt people. It is your responsibility to heal from things so you don't continue or perpetuate this vicious cycle. Stop that cycle. End that cycle. Therapy, other forms of professional help, they're all out there and they're all readily available to you. Take advantage of them if it's within your budget, if it's within your means. It is not weak, it is not cowardly to seek help, it is not any of those things. You are strong and you are courageous. You have to live your entire life up here, my friend. Make sure it's a quiet, calm, relaxing, rejuvenating place. Lesson 18, investing in yourself is always the best investment. This is another piggyback off the last one, but therapy, education, exercise, you name it. If anything is for the betterment of you, your mental health, your physical health, it is always worth the investment. Don't feel guilty about it and don't feel stressed about it. I know sometimes it's really hard to like spend money on ourselves. I've been there, but if it's for the betterment of you, then it's always worth it. Investing in you is never a bad investment. Lesson 19, you cannot force relationships or friendships. I have lived many years of my life prior to these that there were a lot of times that I tried to fit a square peg in a round hole, and I tried to make relationships and certain friendships work that just were damned from the beginning. No matter how good of a friend you are or a significant other you are, there are going to be people that just don't see or don't understand what you bring to the table or what you can add to their lives. And it is not your responsibility to make them understand that. I am so glad that I outgrew that phase of my life and I gained a little bit of dignity from it, because there were people that I tried to make the friendship work, I tried to make the relationship work, but you get to a point where you're like, yo, if you don't see what's in front of you, I can't make you see what's in front of you. And let me say this too, the right people will never need convincing. You will never have to convince people of your worth or what you bring to the table. The right people will always be able to just see that. If it ain't working and it hasn't worked for some time, have the dignity and have the self-respect to move on. Wish them well, wish them the best, and hope that they find who they're looking for, while you go and find who you're looking for, because the people that you're looking for, chances are they're probably looking for you too. Last but certainly not least, lesson 20. Being alone is where the most self-discovery happens. There are moments in life that we may go through these dark, lonely periods where things don't seem to be working out and they just seem really confusing. It just feels like nothing's working. We feel hopeless. We feel like we're not worth enough. I hate those feelings, but we all experience them. The thing is though, is that those are the moments, those quiet moments where all of the distractions, all of the noise, it gets removed and we're left with hearing our own voice. It's our own voice speaking to us, telling us what to do, guiding us on where to go next. A lot of the time, we don't hear that voice because we have so much other external stimuli that we're just focused on, that we aren't turning inwards. We aren't hearing what we ourselves have to say. Your inner voice, your inner monologue is sort of like an internal compass. You just need to listen to it and stop doubting it when it comes. As a creative, sometimes things can be uncertain. Things can be a little scary, but I know that this is right where I'm supposed to be. And I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, because everything thus far, and knock on wood, has worked out. Because my internal voice is what got me here. My internal voice told me to go after this. And why would my internal voice tell me to do that if it wasn't actually aligned with what I was supposed to be doing? Be alone. Find the comfort in the uncomfortable. Discover yourself. Figure out your boundaries. Figure out the things that you like and that you don't like. Figure out the things and people that you like and don't like. True happiness comes from the internal world. It comes from the relationship that you have with yourself. You are the captain of your own life. Know thyself and take advantage of those moments of quiet and solitude and silence and feeling all the emotions. Feel them wholeheartedly. You are figuring out who you are through feeling your own emotions. It's so funny because so many people always run away from their own thoughts and feelings and emotions, but that's literally where the magic is. That is where you will figure out who you are. And those, my friends, are the 20 things that I have learned in my 20s so far. I realize that I have a long way to go. Okay, 6 more years, lots of lessons, lots of things that we still have to learn, but here I am, and here's what I have to show for it so far. And I really hope that some of these lessons resonated with you. And we're all in this together. So love you guys, and thank you so much for all of the really kind birthday messages. I loved reading each and every one of them. They were so sweet. Thank you guys for making me feel so special on my day. Yeah, well, be nice to your baristas, and most importantly, be kind to yourself. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.